Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, a Nevada legend, Jan Jones Blackhurst, joins us for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are always delighted to welcome back to the program Jan Jones Blackhurst. She is a board member of Caesars Entertainment and chief executive in residence at the International Gaming Institute. In addition to that, she's interim vice president of philanthropy and alumni engagement and interim president of the UNLV Foundation. So, Jan, what are you doing in your spare time?
I'm looking for more things to do, Sam. You know me, there's always another puzzle to put together.
Yes, there is. By the way, I was putting together, we're doing the latest thing for our archives on our website, and we're putting together radio shows that I did from 1990 to 1993. And guess who pops up as one of my guests?
I bet I do. You were one of the few Northern journalists who did outreach down in those days to Las Vegas.
I know, it's amazing. We have been friends for a very long time.
Very long time.
Let me start out, so many things to talk to you about. Let's start out with prediction markets. Your thoughts on this?
I think it's illegal gaming. You know, it's hilarious for people to say, oh, well, you know, this isn't betting. Of course it's betting. They're betting on sports. They're betting on everything. And it's interesting. One of the founders of Aristotle came to me at least 15 years ago, a guy named John Phillips. And he had this concept of prediction markets and how you could bet and you didn't need regulation and it was totally legal. And I took it to our chief legal counsel at the time, who said, no, that's illegal gambling.
So do you think that, and I've talked about this on the program before, that because these companies are so huge, like Kalshi, they're billion-dollar companies, that we're going to end up seeing a battle, as we saw with Uber and Lyft, which were also billion-dollar companies, fighting the taxi cab industry. These companies are billion-dollar companies. The gaming companies are billion-dollar companies. Do you think that this fight is going to continue, and where do you think it's going to end up resulting?
Here's what I think. Gambling is one of the most regulated businesses in the world. And it's very clear that with proper regulation and proper taxation, you can operate. And they're trying to operate outside that construct. And I think it's just wrong. And I think the Nevada regulatory bodies and judges have supported that. They're beginning to look at legislation in Washington, D.C. I think it's been a great free ride, but I would love anyone to explain to me how this is not gambling and that you should be able to do it without regulation and without paying fair tax. Of course, they're $1 billion. They're operating a gray market for free.
Absolutely. I remember 20 years ago interviewing Gary Loveman, where he complained about having to be regulated in all 50 states. And it was interesting at the time that the chair of the Gaming Commission, when I brought it up to him, kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, well, basically, good luck with that. But it is
that's the industry.
Right. And that was Pete Bernhard, by the way, who was the chair at the time.
I'll tell you another thing, Sam. These big internet companies, they have no employees, they have no capital investment, and they're operating for free. It's not like they're bringing any benefit into the market except to themselves.
Do you have a concern, though, that this is going to end up in federal hands and that the feds will want to be the ones regulating and taxing?
Well, that's always been a concern. It's why for years, the gaming industry asserted their states' rights so that we could be regulated individually. That being said, the feds may have to make a ruling on the fact that this industry.
I lost you on the part where you said on this industry.
Oh, that I think that it's going to come back to where the federal government returns it to the states to regulate and tax, like they do everyone in gaming.
All right. Well, that would be the best situation for all of the game.
That would be the right situation.
Right. Absolutely. And also, I mean, just when you look at the individual states, the regulations are different in every state, and Nevada has always been the gold standard. Atlantic City and New Jersey have been a gold standard, and that needs to be, I think, the level that we operate at. Let me ask you about another thing, and I know you may be restricted in what you can say about this, but obviously there were major news stories recently broken by the British press that Caesars was for sale. And is it a situation like Golden Gaming's, where the stock price is so undervalued that the best thing to do is to go private or be sold, and then when the market is ready, do an IPO and possibly buy the current ownership?
You're absolutely correct. I really cannot speak to that.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about another thing that you've been involved in well, you've actually been involved in this in your entire career, because when you were elected mayor of Las Vegas, and you were mayor for 2 terms and very successful, you broke the glass ceiling as far as female mayors, and we've had 2 more since you were mayor. But you're now looking to help women become gaming executives and beyond. Will you tell us about the work you're doing currently?
Yeah, we launched a program in conjunction with UNLV called Women Up, which was really for senior level women executives in the gaming industry, but other industries as well, that really looked at how do we move from being a senior vice president to being in the C-suites, because data tells you that representation is at very low levels, and it's certainly not for lack of ability or education or background or competency. So the program is a 6 weeks program, which really takes women through both a WISC, which is a whole analysis of assessment of their skills, their attributes, what they're using, what they could use to a higher level, 360 review, where the people they work with respond to what they see as their strengths or maybe their potential inhibitors, assigns coaching. And as I've always said, women don't need to be taught to be leaders, but sometimes maybe they need to really have the confidence to lead and put themselves at the table. And this program is designed to do just that.
Isn't it frustrating to you? It must be incredibly so that over 100 years later, the women are still in this position.
Yes, it certainly is, Sam. Before it was, well, you just don't have enough women with the right background. In America today, you have more women with BAs, MBAs, JDs, MDs, and yet they're still saying, well, you just can't get there. So uh, it's frustrating, but this program's really designed to give women the confidence and the voice to say, I'm done with that excuse. I'm going to move my way up.
And don't you see, because I look at some of the properties already, both in Northern Nevada, Shannon Keel was just promoted to president of the Grand Sierra Resort. The second in command at the Atlantis has been basically running the show there for years. The women are rising up through the ranks, but just not fast enough.
Correct. And I think women have to remember to bring other women along with them. When I was at City Hall, my entire team were women. At Caesars, my entire team of 25 people were women and people of color, just because I knew I could give them a platform and a voice where they could showcase their talents, and then they would continue rising on their own.
Isn't it funny? Every book I ever read 30, 40 years ago about business said surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and let them have their heads, and they will make you look good.
That's exactly true. I think I'm been successful at business mostly because I'm a good judge of character and of competency, and I pick those people and I elevate them.
You've been a champion of diversity and equity for as long as I've known you. I know that this administration has not been upfront with this particular aspect of business, but are you comfortable that the level of all those things is rising in this country and that we are seeing barriers knocked down?
I think that some of the policies of this administration have set that back, but I don't think you can set back humankind for an ongoing basis. Innovation is fueled by diverse thought, by diverse perspectives, by people of different talents coming together. And I think you see this country continue to innovate and the world continue to innovate by utilizing all your talent and making sure you have different perspectives at the table, because everybody thinking the same way is never going to move you forward. It's just going to keep you treading water.
And, this, just to my knowledge, has been going on for 50 years, where we've seen surges in diversity and then things get cut back. And I think one of the problems has been that corporations have had this in a way forced upon them, and they don't understand how to deal with it. So they will take a person of each group, no matter their qualification, and put them in that position. And I think that has changed in recent years to where now the quality has risen to the top.
It's so interesting. In 1999, when I first joined Paris and worked with Phil Satrick, we put in place what we called the Code of Commitment, which was a commitment to our employees to give them fulfilling jobs with a career path, to our communities to give back, and to our customers to be responsible in the products we gave to them, responsible gaming and other protocols. And when this whole question about DE&I came up, I said even to the executive team at Caesars, if we believe in those principles, no matter what you call it the code of commitment or call it diversity, equity, inclusion. But if you believe in the value of people and putting people first and thoughts first, then it doesn't matter what you call it. It's the right thing to do. And it's the smart thing to do.
I couldn't agree more. Let's take a break. More with Jan Jones after this timeout.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain. And for over 90 years, the Nevada Trucking Association has been the voice for the men and women in the trucking industry. From Carson City to Washington, D.C., we advocate for policies to protect our trucking companies and keep commerce flowing. Because Nevada's and America's prosperity is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
My whole life has been public service. It's about people. And when we work together instead of yelling at each other, we get things done. We don't always get everything we want, but that's our system of government. Give and take. We don't give up. We keep working. We keep pushing. And when we break ground on Nevada's first children's hospital, when crime rates come down, and when graduation rates improve, that motivates me. That's why I do it.
We're the Peters family, 2 combat veterans, our daughter Elle, and our Liberty Dogs puppy in training, Cooper.
Cooper will grow up to be a life-changing companion to a veteran with visible or invisible challenges.
We're helping Cooper build focus and confidence so he's ready to support his veteran.
And we know he will help bring happiness and independence to his veteran's life.
So join us, become a puppy raiser, and change lives, one puppy at a time.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Jan Jones Blackhurst. She is a board member of Caesars Entertainment, the chief executive in residence at the International Gaming Institute. And I could go on for the next half hour listing off all the things she's involved in. So my suggestion is please Google her and you will be blown away. So Jan, AI, what does this mean to you? Because we're seeing this explosion of people using AI, corporations using AI, tech companies being in charge of all of this AI. And then you have this major pushback of people, and not necessarily correctly, saying, oh, we shouldn't be doing this. At the same time, they're posting it on Facebook, which is one of the leaders of AI.
You know, I think AI is a very useful tool. You know, I was with the head of the Clark County Medical Association today, and she was talking how it really facilitates doctors' work. They can be with a patient, AI can be taking notes, and it really allows them to be more efficient in patient care. But to think that AI is going to replace critical thinking and human ability to really excel, I just think is foolish. I mean, I'm with people who say, hey, kids don't need schools anymore. They can just learn with AI. And I think that's very dangerous.
Have you ever done this yourself? Because you are such a public figure that you can go on to any of these AI machines and take a look at what they're saying about you, because I've done this about me. There is a lot of stuff they get right, and there's an incredible amount of stuff they get wrong about me, for example. So to put all your faith into this seems to me to be very foolish.
Exactly. It doesn't think. It just assesses data and information. Those are two very different skill sets. I mean, it's fascinating to me that people are saying, oh, all the jobs are going to go away. And I say, I don't believe that to be true at all.
No, I couldn't agree more. I remember back in the 90s when ATM machines came out, and everybody in the banking industry was freaked out that their jobs were going to go away because the bankers were saying, well, these ATMs don't take vacations and they don't need time off and on and on and on. But the reality is that banks employ more people today than they did 30 years ago.
Correct. And I think AI is very much the same. It's a useful tool. It is not a replacement for human intellect and knowledge. It only knows what we know.
Right, exactly. And you're right about the critical thinking part because it definitely cannot do that. Let's take another break and we'll be right back with Jan Jones Blackhurst after this timeout.
The Road to Riches leads straight to the Carson Valley Inn. Cash drawings Thursday and Saturdays. Over 480 winners. Score up to $15,000 weekly. Plus one $10,000 cash winner and the $20,000 guaranteed grand prize giveaways. Free meals, free play, and more. Only at the Carson Valley Inn.
2025 is bringing big changes for Nevada businesses. If you have more than 5 employees and have been operating for 3 years or more, you must now comply with new state retirement plan mandates. The Vegas Chamber 401k plan makes it easy, offering a proven, customizable, and cost-effective plan for employers and employees to save with tax advantages. Visit vegaschamber.com to explore options and see how the Vegas Chamber can help you start saving for your future.
At Nevada Urban Indians in Reno, your health is our priority. Our medical clinic welcomes everyone. We accept all insurances, ensuring quality care is within reach. Nevada Urban Indians, your partners in health.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Jan Jones Blackhurst. She's a board member of Caesars Entertainment and the chief executive in residence of the International Gaming Institute. Democratic leaders of the next generation. I mean, we're looking at so many members of Congress and people running for the highest offices in the land that really should have aged out. Who, in your opinion, are, say, the top 3 Democrats that you're looking at as the next generation of leadership?
You know what? I don't know if I can answer that because I think so many elected officials on both sides are so contentious in fighting each other that I don't know who's really speaking to the people. One of my favorite elected officials is Susie Lee, who is a congresswoman down in Southern Nevada. But she talks to her constituents. She talks to people. She talks to them about what they want to hear. I think Senator Masto and Jackie Rosen do the same. But I don't see a young leader that I go, boy, that's going to be the future of America. And that's a little concerning to me, not because they're not there. I just don't know whether all of the voices are being sort of buried in contentious vitriol.
Okay, so I remember talking to Sig Rogich years ago about the Freedom Caucus, and he talked about how the Republican Party had had to deal with these kind of groups before, and they had managed to make them more minuscule and get back to a more centrist position. Do you see us getting back to a more centrist position, say, in the next 4 years?
All I can say, Sam, is I hope so, because the way this government is operating, where it is so partisan, there's no conversation, cannot be our future. That is not the democracy we were built on. We agreed to disagree, not to make disagreement the basis of every conversation.
You know, what's interesting, though, is that the public has never been more involved in our democracy by the fact that they talk about it, they go to meetings, they're doing marches. It's almost like we're in the late 60s.
It sort of is. I was listening to, you and I'll remember this, Sam, the song, We're on the Eve of Destruction.
Right, Barry McGuire.
Well, that was Barry McGuire. It was like 1965 or 66. And it was sort of the same message. So I'm hoping this is just sort of more a function of social media and real-time platforms that feed people information that drives their level of probably not real knowledge or 360 knowledge of what's happening, and that people get back, and maybe it's the question of critical thinking, to trying to read and be rational and have conversations that lead to outcomes. We don't all have to agree, but we can find a center position that does the best for everyone.
And perhaps listening to more voices than just one would be helpful too. Jan Jones, we're out of time. I miss you. I look forward to seeing you in the studio next time. And let's make it sooner than our gap in the last one.
I'll make sure to make that happen. It's so nice to have a moment with you, Sam.
Always a pleasure, Jan Jones Blackhurst. Thank you. And we'll be right back.
You'll be rolling with some swag during the $150,000 Spring Bling giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Make it rain with up to $5,000 in cash every week and 20 large in cash guaranteed during the grand finale drawing. We're blinging in your good times at Tamarack Casino.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm Attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys who will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at nevadanewsmakers.com. And our archive goes back to 2002. So you can look at all kinds of historic interviews right here on Nevada Newsmakers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next broadcast.